She sat across from him in the dim corner of a cafe, fingers trembling around a chipped porcelain cup. Her eyes, wet, distant, searched his face for something familiar, something real. But whatever she thought she saw in him had vanished. He hadn't changed. He was still kind, still attentive, still him. Yet to her, he suddenly felt like a stranger. And when she whispered, "I don't know why I don't feel it anymore," his heart sank. Not from heartbreak, but from confusion. Because just weeks ago, she had said he was everything she ever wanted. This is the quiet collapse so many of us have lived through. The moment when love turns cold, not because of betrayal or distance, but because the illusion fades. Someone once looked at you like you were everything they ever needed. Then suddenly, they pulled away. Not because you changed, but because you no longer fit the story their unconscious had projected onto you. They weren't falling for you. They were falling for a forgotten strength, a buried wound, a longing they saw reflected in your eyes. And when reality couldn't uphold the fantasy, they didn't retreat from you. They retreated from their own shadow. Carl Jung believed we don't meet people by accident. We're drawn to those who mirror what we've lost, ignored, or suppressed. Love, then, is rarely random. It's a psychological echo. Every attraction pointing us back to unmet needs, childhood wounds, and dormant desires. And yet, when the fantasy breaks, most people assume something went wrong. But maybe that heartbreak wasn't a failure. Maybe it was something deeper, finally surfacing, asking to be seen. Love feels sudden, immediate, a spark igniting without warning. Eyes meet across a crowded room, heartbeats quicken, and everything narrows down to this singular, breathtaking moment. Yet beneath that sudden magic lies a hidden script, quietly authored by your unconscious long before this encounter ever happened. Carl Jung understood this deeply. Your spontaneous attractions aren't random. They're your psyche's silent attempt to reclaim lost pieces of itself. When someone captivates you, you're not seeing them clearly. You're recognizing a buried fragment of yourself, perhaps a forgotten passion, suppressed vulnerability, or an unacknowledged dream aching to come alive again. This inner shadow waits patiently, projecting itself onto others as a quiet invitation for self-discovery. You might believe you've finally met the one, but often you're meeting a reflection, someone embodying your hidden longing or an unconscious need. When that reflection shatters against reality, disappointment rushes in, leaving confusion and emptiness in its wake. Yet this disillusionment isn't a tragedy, it's an opportunity. Jung urged us not to fear these moments, but to embrace them as powerful signposts guiding us inward. When the illusion dissolves, you glimpse your shadow clearly for the first time, awakening a deeper self-awareness. You learn to own the qualities you've admired from afar, slowly becoming whole from within, not reliant on another's mirror. True love, then, isn't spontaneous or accidental. It's intentional, born from self-awareness and integration. Next time love strikes like lightning, pause and look inward. Recognize what your unconscious is whispering, reclaim what's hidden, and transform fleeting attraction into lasting insight. Because behind every sudden spark lies the quiet truth your soul is yearning to tell. People often find themselves irresistibly drawn towards someone who feels like their opposite. A silent, reserved woman enthralled by a vibrant, spontaneous man, or a careful planner fascinated by someone who lives on impulse and passion. It's easy to call it chemistry, fate, or an emotional accident. Yet beneath that magnetism lies something far deeper. An unconscious longing, as Carl Jung taught, quietly surfacing from the shadows of the psyche. That reserved woman isn't just admiring spontaneity, she's glimpsing a buried part of herself, a vibrant freedom locked away beneath layers of caution. Her heart races because she's finally found a living reflection of what she secretly craves to become. This person isn't merely attractive, they are a mirror showing the qualities she has denied herself. She isn't falling in love with him, she's awakening love for a forgotten side of her own being. Recognizing this hidden dynamic can transform your relationships dramatically. Next time someone seems utterly captivated by you, pause briefly and reflect on what quality or trait you embody that they might secretly crave. Similarly, when you feel yourself strongly pulled toward another, consider what dormant strength within yourself they might represent. This simple shift turns relationships into powerful pathways for self-growth instead of blind pursuits for external fulfillment. Love becomes empowering when you consciously reclaim these hidden parts, integrating them into who you are. Relationships then cease to be about filling emotional gaps. They evolve into meaningful journeys towards psychological wholeness. The attraction you once believed was about the other person, you'll discover, was always about the inner you, longing quietly from within to finally be seen. The rush of being idealized feels intoxicating at first, like standing under bright lights, celebrated for being exactly who someone else believes you to be. Yet beneath that thrill simmers a quiet danger. Carl Jung warned us that when people idealize, they aren't truly seeing you. They're seeing their own hidden fantasies, projected outward like shadows on a wall. They don't cling out of genuine connection, but out of unconscious desperation to fill internal voids. When reality inevitably breaks through, when your humanity surfaces, imperfect and raw, the illusion shatters. Suddenly, your authenticity becomes their disappointment, your truth, their confusion. You're left wondering how warmth turned to coldness so quickly. But this moment of disillusionment isn't a betrayal, it's a powerful revelation. Jung calls us to see clearly. Behind every idealization lies a neglected shadow, a forgotten piece of ourselves desperately seeking acknowledgement. Reflect honestly. Have you ever felt rejected simply for being human? For stepping outside someone's projected ideal? Or perhaps you've held someone else hostage to an impossible fantasy, unable to accept their beautiful imperfections. Recognizing this pattern isn't defeat, it's freedom. It invites you to turn inward, bravely confronting your shadows, reclaiming what you've projected onto others. Relationships then become authentic mirrors, not fragile illusions, but transformative truths guiding you toward real connection and wholeness. Meeting someone who seems perfectly familiar feels strangely magical, like uncovering a lost letter addressed directly to your soul. Carl Jung believed this powerful sensation springs from deep within your psyche, a hidden emotional blueprint he called the anima or animus. It's an unconscious portrait, shaped early in life by parents, experiences, and cultural influences, quietly guiding your heart toward its mysterious ideal. When someone enters your life and effortlessly matches that invisible script, your unconscious mind ignites. They don't simply look attractive or seem charming. They resonate with an internal story you've carried since childhood. Suddenly, love doesn't just feel exciting, it feels inevitable. Yet beneath this intoxicating certainty lurks the complexity of shadow work, because what you're really encountering isn't destiny, but a reflection of your deepest unmet desires. The danger surfaces when the vivid ideal you've carried clashes against reality, when the magical lover reveals their human imperfections, shattering your illusion. Many relationships begin passionately, burning brightly until the fantasy fades. But Jung saw this moment of rupture not as failure, but opportunity, the chance to face and embrace your hidden self. releasing old narratives that kept you seeking completion externally. By becoming aware of these powerful projections, you move from unconscious fantasy toward conscious growth. The next time attraction pulls irresistibly, pause to explore the hidden image your psyche is longing to fulfill. Love, after all, holds its greatest magic not when it completes you, but when it guides you back home, toward the self you've always been seeking. The instant you hear someone whisper, "It's like I've known you forever," your heart leaps. Everything feels electric, certain, almost inevitable. But beneath this thrilling connection, Carl Jung saw something deeper unfolding. He believed this intense familiarity isn't destiny whispering. It's your unconscious psyche recognizing its reflection in someone else. They aren't seeing you clearly. They're glimpsing an idealized version of themselves, projected onto you like an emotional movie screen. Yet, like any film, reality eventually breaks through. Your quirks, flaws, and contradictions surface, disturbing their perfect fantasy. Suddenly, you're not the comforting symbol, you're just a person. Their soulmate illusion shatters, not because you changed, but because their inner story couldn't withstand your humanity. Visualize a captivating film mirroring your deepest dreams, suddenly glitching mid-scene. The fantasy cracks, reality seeps in, and the illusion collapses. Not because the screen betrayed you, but because it was always a projection of your hidden longings. This is precisely what happens when soulmate illusions dissolve. We feel betrayed by the truth, unaware the betrayal was ours from the start. But Jung saw hope in this disruption. When illusions break, shadows surface, revealing the truths we must face. Relationships aren't meant to fulfill our fantasies. They exist to guide us inward, forcing us toward authenticity. The pain of losing an illusion isn't defeat, it's liberation from projections that blind us to genuine connection. Real intimacy doesn't require perfection. It asks courage, the courage to see clearly, love authentically, and choose reality over fantasy. That's how soulmates truly emerge, not as flawless ideals, but as beautifully imperfect mirrors, gently leading us back home to ourselves. When someone says, "You've changed," and pulls away, it can feel like loss. But often, it's not you they're mourning. It's the collapse of the fantasy they projected onto you. Carl Jung understood this deeply. They didn't truly see you. They saw a reflection of their own unmet needs, their hidden desires. A shimmering ideal you were never meant to carry. The pain isn't proof of failure. It's the weight of illusion falling apart. And while that realization can sting, it's also liberating. You're not here to sustain someone else's dream. You're here to be real, raw, whole. When love unravels under the pressure of truth, let it. Mourn it, then look inward. The shadow it reveals holds the key to deeper self-acceptance. Because true love doesn't survive through perfection. It grows when two people meet without masks and choose each other anyway. Love feels like magic until the mirror cracks. Then it feels like tragedy. Yet Carl Jung offered a different view. Relationships aren't meant to fix us, but to reflect us. Every intense attraction, every devastating breakup carries a message from your unconscious, whispering quietly about what you've forgotten or buried deep inside. When someone pulls you irresistibly, they're not just captivating. They're illuminating the shadows within you, reflecting hidden longings, suppressed dreams, or buried wounds. Each connection becomes a subtle invitation to confront those neglected parts, guiding you toward healing and growth. Even heartbreak holds purpose, exposing what you've lost, what you secretly crave, and what needs your attention. Love isn't a soothing balm, it's an awakening, urging you to reclaim the fragments scattered by life's disappointments. And if someone chooses to stay through your raw revelations, accepting both shadow and light, love transforms profoundly. It's no longer a fragile fantasy. It becomes resilient, authentic, deeply human. Two souls seeing clearly, growing intentionally, journeying together toward wholeness. Next time love leaves you hurt or confused, pause. Let your pain lead you inward. Each emotion, whether joyful or painful, becomes a powerful mirror, reflecting the self you've yet to fully embrace. Love, Jung reminds us, is less about comfort and more about courageous self-discovery. Because when you finally see yourself clearly, relationships no longer feel like fleeting solutions. They become beautiful mirrors of truth, reflecting a self you're proud to meet. Breaking free from illusions means first stepping into the truth of your own shadows. Carl Jung taught that awareness isn't passive, it's powerful. When attraction strikes, pause and reflect deeply on what this person represents within you. Notice what hidden dreams or unmet needs you're unconsciously placing onto someone else's shoulders. If you're drawn irresistibly to confidence, start reclaiming your own courage bit by bit. Make the call you've avoided. Speak your truth aloud, even if your voice shakes. Or perhaps you admire emotional honesty in others. So begin journaling openly, vulnerably. Practice letting your authentic self rise, no longer hidden in someone else's shadow. The solution isn't chasing external fulfillment, but nurturing internal wholeness. As you integrate these neglected parts of yourself, love naturally shifts from desperation to empowerment. Relationships no longer serve as fragile fantasies, but become genuine partnerships built on mutual authenticity. When you consciously embrace your shadows, illusions lose their grip. Attraction transforms from blind compulsion to mindful choice. By grounding yourself in awareness, your heart becomes wise enough to seek love that doesn't merely complete you, but genuinely reflects you. Ultimately, breaking patterns isn't about changing others. It's about reclaiming yourself. When you fully own the qualities you've admired from afar, you no longer chase illusions. You embody them, becoming authentically whole. And from that place, love emerges beautifully, powerfully real. Love isn't just emotion, it's revelation. It reflects what we've forgotten, what we've buried, what we're finally ready to reclaim. Carl Jung saw love as a compass, quietly pointing us inward, not toward another person, but toward the parts of ourselves we've left behind. Every attraction, every heartbreak carries a message, a mirror held up to your inner world, asking what still longs to be seen. The people who stir something deep in you aren't random. They're invitations. Their boldness may echo the courage you've silenced. Their tenderness may awaken a longing you've refused to name. And when you stop chasing someone to fill your emptiness and start asking what they reflect, love transforms. It shifts from projection to presence, from illusion to truth. Those we're drawn to most deeply are often the ones who reveal who we've yet to become, not because they complete us, but because they call something forward. The work is not to hold on to them. The work is to listen, to grow, to integrate. Love, at its most honest, doesn't rescue you. It reveals you. It doesn't point outward. It leads you home. Drop into your heart for a moment and ask yourself honestly if you've ever fallen for someone, not because of who they truly were, but because you saw your hidden reflection shimmering in their eyes. Carl Jung invites us to recognize that beneath every attraction, every heartbreak, lies a silent invitation towards self-awareness. Love isn't meant to simply comfort you. It's here to awaken you, to gently guide you into the deeper layers of your being. When you finally see love as a mirror rather than a destination, relationships become meaningful journeys toward growth and wholeness. They teach you courage to face your shadows, embrace your truths, and transform attraction into authentic connection. Have you ever caught yourself loving your own reflection projected onto someone else? Share your story below. I'd love to hear your insights. If this resonated deeply and you're hungry for more powerful conversations about Jungian psychology, relationships, and emotional clarity, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Here at Mosaic Mind, we journey deep together. Love wisely, grow freely, and remember, every reflection holds the potential to awaken your soul. Now, tap the suggested video on your screen and continue your journey inward. Thanks for being part of Mosaic Mind.